How's it going, YouTube? My name is Ryan Reyes, otherwise known as Sector 7. Welcome to my channel, Sector 7 Music. I am a video game composer and sound designer. First off, I just want to thank every single one of you guys for joining me today, and for all of you subscribers out there. I am almost at 100 subscribers, and that means so much to me. Thank you so much again. So I have some really fun news for you guys. I am on my 5th asset pack, and it is in full production as we speak. Currently, I am actually writing the music for it, and I am using an array of different instruments because the theme of this asset pack is going to be cute and cozy. This is a really great asset pack for all of you video game devs out there that are into those slice of life / really easy living sort of games. A lot of the instruments that I'm going to use are actually kind of cool. Check this out. So I will be playing some ukulele. This guy right here, his name is Felix. Some of this guy right here, this automaton. Unfortunately, he doesn't have any batteries. For all you game lovers out there and game devs out there that create and love playing those really cozy games, farm simulators, all the way to just slice of life games, this pack is going to be for you. And going off of that topic, today what I want to talk about is a brand new instrument that I got my hands on, which this is the most different, more niche instrument I have ever had the pleasure of playing on, which is this guy right here. This is the EP-1320 by Teenage Engineering. It is a medieval synthesizer and sampler, literally one of its kind. I've never seen anything like this, and it is 100% super rad. It is so cool. I can't even explain how cool this thing is. I think I'm just gonna have to show you. So here it is, guys, in all its glory, the medieval, the EP-1320 by Teenage Engineering. I just can't say enough about this. This is fantastic. First of all, let's talk about the art. The art is so cool. Whoever did this, fantastic. Bravo. You guys over there are just doing some preem stuff. I mean, this is such unique artwork that is just, I've never seen this on a synthesizer. I've never seen this on an instrument before, so I can really appreciate this. And then the attention to detail to all of the fonts and the wording here in Latin. Fantastic. I love this. This is so cool. This right here, these letterings here just remind me of the old texts that you'll see in the medieval era, where it is the big letters and then it has the rest, which are still really nice, but the rest of the paragraph, but the big starting letters are just fantastic. I love this. One really cool thing about this is that it has such a really fun Lego aspect to it. And what I mean by that is that these are like Lego pieces here. Isn't that really neat? That's so sick. This even reminds me, this little gate right here just reminds me of some Lego pieces as well, too. I have seen people put Legos on here, tires specifically, which I think is fantastic. This thing is really neat. Also, it does run on batteries. How sick is that? Other than that, you have these pads right here. These are your sample pads. The cool thing about these is that they smell like chocolate. I really appreciate that as well, too. The artwork, fantastic. I love it. Ignito. That's just ignite. So let's fire this bad boy up. Boom. As you can see, the lit display is great. It is very cool, very nice, very light, very bright. I actually really love this display. You have the same box art right here on your machine as well. I think that is a nice touch. So as far as your layout goes, we have all of your ins and outs right over here. This is how you turn it on, ignito, or ignite, I guess. That guy right there is just going to turn on the entire machine. Right now it is running on batteries. I just have this guy plugged in. And then starting from the top, we have a speaker here. We have a microphone here. That is actually to not only hear, but you can record your own samples into it, which is a really nice touch. Then from there, we have this backlit display right here. There's so many symbols in here, guys. There's a ton of them. I'm not going to go through them all today, but I'm telling you right now, every single one of them means something specific. For instance, right over here, that moon means mute. And then right over here, we have your magnitudo. This right here is going to be like your volume. This right here is going to be how you actually choose what samples you want to play around with. This right here is going to be your menu. This is kind of like your back to one, so to speak, is this one right here. This kind of tells you what pattern you're in, as far as you can input different patterns and you can input different things by doing this button here. This is your tempo. That right there allows you to contour your tempo up, down, whatever you want to do. Over here, this is going to be like a amplitude. So I don't have anything going on right now, but that's about your amplitude. This right here is your pitch, which is actually kind of cool. Some sort of pitch correction, or you could just do some effects, that sort of thing. This button right here allows you to take a sample and then use it chromatically. Then we have the fader. That is self-explanatory. It goes from 0 all the way to 100. You can actually assign different effects on this guy. Altero is really cool. So every single one of these buttons has a separate function to it. If you press Altero, see these guys right over here? The bottom will give you a different menu. These guys right here are like your groups. So right now, A would have 12 different pads, 12 different samples in their group. Not only that, but every single one of these, you can choose a pattern as well. These guys, the click on this, oh my gosh, fantastic. I love the click and the feel of every single one of these buttons. You just gotta feel it for yourself because they are 100% just so nice to touch, and they're very responsive, which is really good too. This button right here is a very important button. This is errado or erase. If you choose this and then press any one of these buttons or hold it, you can erase all those mistakes that you did, or if you want something in there and you change your mind, you can just erase it by doing this button here. This Pocus button right here, I love how they named it that, allows you to create your effects and to play your effects within the songs and the patterns that you have. Great button here. Plus and a minus button here allows you to go through your menus. These are great functionality buttons right over there. And then we have play and we have record here, self-explanatory. When you want to record a sample or when you want to record a pattern, this is definitely the way to go, is this button right here. All right, and that's pretty much most of your layout. This is the meat and potatoes of everything, the sounds. On here, it has 220 sounds on this guy. Then, those are just your banks, right? You have 221 through 500 as your own samples. But today, we're just going to go straight through the sounds itself. It has a lot of percussion sounds, a lot of really fun samples as well too, like chickens and goats and screams and chairs, swords, things like that. And then it has some really fun medieval instruments as well, like hurdy-gurdy. It has some flutes, things like that. Oh, it's so great. All right, let's get to it. So what I have here, as you can tell, there's nothing on here. How we actually put sounds on here is we're going to go to Sonus, this mode right over here. Then we're going to put or assign any one of these buttons to a sample. Let's just go straight down here because I like to go up this way. So the way you're going to choose your sound is from the plus and the minus here. So let's just get started here. Nice percussive bass drum. I think those are really cool. Those are some really fun percussive ones, which I personally love using those right off the bat, and I think that's why they put those first, is because they want you to just use a lot of that percussion. From there, you have some really fun snares or some sort of light hits, some more higher hits, and then you have some chimes for hi-hats or anything like that. Those are really fun. Some little claps or some sort of little like wood block sort of sounds. And then it starts kind of getting into more of the creative sounds in here. Ooh, these were the big, deep drums. I love these ones. Those are fantastic. Then from there, you have more percussive hits, almost like some toms or some sort of bigger drums. And then, as you just heard right now, then it's going to go into more droney sort of things, or some trumpets. Those are some really fun samples as well. Hurdy-gurdy. Oh, what's cool about this is that if you don't know what that is, you can hold down this button, and it'll actually give you kind of a description of it. One other really fun thing is that, let's just say I love 77 and 76. If I go to my next sample, all I have to do is press the plus button or the minus button, and it will assign leading from your previous sample there. So if I do that, see, this one was 77, now it's back to 76. Now it goes, now you can go from there. There you go. Those are some really fun. Those are some really fun sound effects right over there. Some cheers, some grunts. Ooh, some screams. Then we have a lot of really fun sound effects right over here. Some animal sound effects. I love that. That is so cool. Go into 100. Now you have some really fun stringed instruments right over there. Some flutes. And some of the samples are actually very long, and some of them are very short and precise. But the more you hold on to it, you get the full sample itself. You get some really fun flute right over there. You get a hurdy-gurdy right over here. But if you hold this button down and press that sample there, now you can actually do some music. That, I think, is fantastic. All right, guys. Well, that's kind of an introduction to the sounds and how to apply them. So, yeah. Let's go through the modes now. And what I mean by modes is that there's different functionalities here that you can do in order to write a song or compose a beat, things like that. For instance, I already showed you what this mode does, the sonus mode. Menus, this one is kind of, like I said, you're back to 1. This one allows you to go precisely to what measure you're on. This one allows you to actually choose your patterns. This one allows you to choose all sorts of different things. And like I said, it's kind of like you're back to 1, so to speak. Right now, if I press this, I'm on the 4th pattern. I already have some patterns here that I have already composed and have done. These guys right here are, all you have to do is just hold them down, hold this button down and hold which pattern you want, and then it goes immediately to that pattern. And what's cool about that is it takes the tempo with it as well too. Some machines, I hate it when it doesn't take the tempo back to the pattern that you wrote, and then you have to dial in the tempo. I just don't like that. They actually thought of that, which is fantastic. And then over here we have tempus, which is your tempo. You can choose definitely your tempo there. Something cool that record does is if you hold this down and you press plus or minus, this will allow you to actually lengthen or shorten your beat that you're trying to compose and you're producing. So now that I have the sample on here, that's a pretty long sample. So if I play this, it only goes up down to 1, boop, and then that's it. No more after that. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to hold codecs, and let's just do 6. So now what's going to happen is it's going to play all the way up to 6 now. This is a great function when you want to compose longer beats or compose longer songs. Errato, I kind of showed you what this one does already, so I only have that on there. But let's just say I don't want that on there. I'm going to press that button, and I'm going to erase it. Booyah, done and done. Other than that, we have Pocus, which Pocus is actually kind of cool. Out of all of these different effects here, if you hold this and press every single one of these, it's going to have different onboard effects. And they even added some new ones from their previous iterations of these machines here. Let's check it out. That right there are the effects of this guy. So that's pretty much kind of the modes and the functionalities of some of this. I definitely encourage you, if you do get this, there's a lot more, but dive into it and just explore with this. Alright guys, let's start building a beat now. What I'm just going to show you is a real quick way to build upon your patterns, select different patterns. Let's start here. A, B, C, and D have 12 different banks that you can choose different patterns on. If you go to menus right over here, I have a pattern on 1, I have a pattern on 2, I have a pattern on 3, and you just hold this button, hold that button down, and then you will choose your patterns. But let's do an empty one. Let's do number 4. So I have kind of a little demo on 4 that I was doing earlier. I don't like it. So what I can do is I can actually press and hold errato or erase, menu, and number 4, boom, and I just deleted all of that. Now it has nothing on there. So let's start building. Let's go to, let's do 1. Let's go into sounds, so Sonus right over here. Let's choose like a really fun bass drum. I like number 2. Number 2 is dope. All right. And then for number 2, button or pad number 2, let's do a nice snare. Ooh, I like number 11. Let's do number 11. And then from there, let's choose some sort of hi-hat. Let's do this one. It's not so chimey. Cool. All right, other than that, after that, what we're going to do is we're going to menu that guy. Now, this is important because sometimes I will lengthen it and shorten it and not even realize that I did that, and then I move on to the next section of my pattern, and I'm like, no, I don't want it that long. Hold this and make sure this is the length that you want. So it, by default, starts on length 1. Let's do 4, because 4 is like a nice round loop. All right, so from there, let's do one of 2 ways on how to record it. You can either hold this and then press your pads here at precisely the right point in your measure, or you could just press that and press play, and it's going to give you a count in, and then it'll go through. So let's just do that. Actually, let's check our tempo first. Okay, we're at 120. Fantastic. So 120, you know, default, whatever. Let's build a pattern. Cool. Now that we have that drum beat down, we can move on to different things. One way to do that is if you hold Alt arrow and press menus here, it's going to commit that drum beat to the first section of your song and it playing afterwards on all the other sections. You can also erase it. So let's just say you want section 1, 2, but you don't want drums on section 3. You can erase those drums on section 3, and on section 3 it'll tell you where it's playing. You can erase those there that way you can leave things open for other instruments. Boom. See that? It actually went to 2 now. The way you choose your different parts of your pattern is with these 2 buttons here, okay? As the menu suggests, it wants your bass here, melodies here, something like that, and then your own samples here. I want some sort of bass or something sound, just so I can show you how to build upon that. Okay, so let's go to here, and now we're in Bank B. Bank B has nothing. So now, let's choose a sound for Bank B. I actually like this one. So now that we're in 5.02, our last part of the song was the pattern. Now we're going to be in the next section of the song, or the next section of the pattern. So I assigned that one right over there, 80, so you can either hit 8, 0, or you could just go all the way up using these guys. But that's going to be my next sample. So here's how I'm going to do that. Go all the way back, and then hit record, play, count in. So now, if we look at it, it's actually going to play from the beginning. Let's just say I love that. That is the greatest thing on earth, and I want to commit it. I can hit Altero. Boom. Now it's committed to the second part of your song. And that's kind of a rough way on how to build a track. There's so many more things in there, but start there, and then you can figure out the rest with ease.